What's up, guys? It's time for the result of my 2017 Machinima contest. I realize it's taken me almost a year to get this done, but fuck it. Let's do it now. I'm about to nitpick the fuck out of everyone, so please don't be offended, because I'm really only trying to help. The links to all the videos in the contest are in the description. There will be spoilers, so I recommend watching them if you hadn't already. Before I start, I'd like to thank my judges Jack Hahn, aka Pep, and HighTideFilms for participating this year. I appreciate it. But now that that's out of the way, let's get to the machinimas. Number 10. Star Wars The Last Jedi Hype by Herogameplayz. This machinima is a battle between a Scorpion tank, driven by a Stormtrooper wannabe, and a normal Halo Reach player. It's an interesting concept, and it could be funny, but unfortunately the execution is a bit suspect. Let's start with the broad strokes. Throughout your entire video, you never once change camera angles. You do that thing that new directors do where they follow their characters around with the camera in theater mode, and never once cut between different shots. Not only that, but you keep flying around in the air 50 feet above the characters and shaking your camera back and forth. It's a bit disorienting. I recommend that you take a look at some of the other machinimas in this contest and how they edit your videos and try to emulate that. Besides that, at the very beginning of the video your interface is showing. You should have edited that out. You accidentally pause your video here and then start it again, even though your audio is still playing. At 1 minute 56 seconds the tank despawns on screen. You should try to avoid showing that in the actual machinima. At about 2 minutes and 5 seconds it cuts to black and the interface is showing again. You should have edited that out. You then fast forward the recording and then pause it accidentally. You should really have reshot that. Also, the guy voicing the Stormtrooper wannabe recorded it at really low quality. And it actually sounds like he's in an internet cafe. Like you can actually hear other people talking over him.
Surrender now, or we will shoot you. Never! Hold your fire!
So a little extra effort would go a long way. Number 9. Rookie's official trailer by Rift-EX2 Films. There's not a lot to say about this because it's a trailer taking place during a conversation between two characters. It's pretty good at generating that RVB feel, so, hype generated. But like many of the other directors here, you have a problem with the 180-degree rule. For example, in this shot, the Hayabusa dude is facing left. Then in the next shot, the Aqua dude is facing left. Then in the next shot, the Hayabusa dude is facing right. Your camera work isn't bad, but I would like to see some tighter shots during conversation scenes. There's a bit too much dead space there for sure. Either way, keep it up, dude. Number 8. A New Arrival Alpha Squad short by RaymondSpy95. In this short machinima, the main character, Toby, is attempting to evade someone who is trying to kill him. Although I'd like to see the whole story leading up to this point, it works pretty well as an individual scene. You're pretty good at generating suspense. Although your camera work is a bit suspect. Your shots are generally very wide and linger a bit too long in my opinion. I think your shots need to be a bit tighter, especially given the suspenseful tone of the video. You broke the 180-degree rule several times. At 45 seconds, Toby is crouch walking from right to left. Then in the next shot, when he leaves the building, he's walking from left to right. Later, at 2 minutes 10 seconds, the Red Spartan is walking from left to right. Then the camera angle switches to him walking right to left. Then right after that, he's looking left, then the camera angle switches to him walking to the right. You should really try to avoid switching sides like this because it can be jarring to the audience. It's not always wrong to break the 180-degree rule, but in these instances I think it is. This is a problem a lot of machinima directors have when they're starting out. I myself didn't know about this until about my 4th machinima, so try to keep it in mind in future videos. Overall though, this is quite good all things considered. I think you have a lot of potential, and I'd like to see more machinimas from you in the future. Number 7. Alone by the Red Skull. To my understanding, this video is about a soldier whose ship goes down while he's cycling back, and this forces him to survive in the wild. The majority of this video is a monologue consisting mostly of panning shots, which can be good, but in this case the dialogue is either extremely low quality or extremely muffled. Which is bad considering that in a monologue, the audio quality is very important. Although the enormous sound disparity between the intro and the actual video doesn't help, because I had to turn my volume way down. The concept is good. I like the feel that you're trying to go for, but there's just too many mistakes for it to work. Your editing of the main character firing his weapon is sloppy. You cut while he's still firing his weapon and should still be reacting to recoil, to a shot where he isn't firing, which is sloppy. You tend to place your character's head near the center of the screen, which leaves too much dead space around the character. It isn't always wrong, but usually it's better if the character's head is closer to the top of the screen, so there isn't as much dead space. That, the muffled voice acting, and this ridiculous death position, which is impossible to take seriously, really ruins the tone you're going for. You have potential, you're just being held back by a bit of sloppy editing and a bad mic. Number 6. The Dropzone by LastSecondFilms. The Dropzone is about a lone ODST who wanders through the aftermath of a battle, while having flashbacks of the events that took place there. Initially, you did a pretty good job of creating that somber tone, but after about 50 seconds you kinda lost me when the music abruptly cuts out and you see a split second of the battle that previously took place. The difference in sound between these two scenes is what makes it feel really choppy, although even visually it shouldn't be so sudden. I think that adding a transition or even just lingering in that scene a bit longer would help. Also, during the flashback you use no music and rely entirely on in-game sound effects. I realize that adding your own sound effects is a lot of work, but it is worth it. Using in-game sound effects is bad because it feels familiar. These are sounds many of us have heard 1,000 times playing the game, and getting that sense of deja vu really takes you out of the moment. I'd recommend editing in your own sound effects in the future, not just to avoid that familiarity, but because you also have more control of the sounds when you're editing them in yourself. This player following shot of the Warthog feels artificial, and I'd recommend trying to manually follow vehicles in the future. You also keep restarting the music track every time you return to the present, which again creates a sense of deja vu, and it starts to get repetitive. You don't want to repeat the same 30 seconds of music like 3 or 4 times, it gets tiresome. All that said, I think you do have talent. It sounded like I had a lot of gripes, and I might have been a bit harsh, so I'm sorry. You are really close to becoming a great director, so I hope you take what I've said to heart. Number 5. Cheating Halo Player Part 1 by RedSetimentFilms. Cheating Halo Player is about a cheating Halo player. Who would have guessed, right? Seriously though, RedSetimentFilms is one of those guys who can pump out a machinima every week, and this, in my opinion, is one of his best vids. I really like the concept, the use of music, and how you built up the thread. At first doubting that there is a cheater, and then progressing to the cheater actually moving his own teammates to the opposite team so he can farm points faster, and so his teammates can explain just how much he's cheating. Clever, dude. Clever. And it's actually a decent comedic moment. That being said, this contest isn't about complimenting everyone. I've got to say some shit, particularly about your camera work. In this video you do this thing where you cut to all 6 characters rapidly without them saying anything so you can show the reactions to whatever's just been said. And you do this several times. I personally find this a bit jarring. You also tend to break the 180-degree rule. For example, at 8:15, RedSetimentFilms is looking right, then in the next shot the cheater is also looking right. Then in the next shot RedSetimentFilms is looking left, then in the next shot he's looking right. In the future, try to keep the direction your characters are looking consistent, and try to avoid having both characters looking in the same direction. I really should make a video on the 180-degree rule because it's kinda difficult to explain without examples. And I swear, I've mentioned it like 40,000 times already. But it is important. And there can even be gray areas sometimes. There are instances where the rule can be broken. Like when the cheater is spawn killing them, it actually works better when the 180-degree rule is broken because it helps create that sense of confusion and inconsistency because it's a fucking cheater and nobody knows where the fuck he is. That being said, the 180-degree rule is at least a good guideline to follow, especially during one-on-one conversations. Moving on from that, I personally think your head mobs are a bit over the top, and your voice acting is a bit over the top too.
You humiliated me by calling me an idiot! At this point, can you blame me after you went rampant and started using cheats?
But then again, you are way more popular than I am, so what do I know? It is just my opinion, and people do seem to enjoy it. I mean, there is some comedic value there. Either way, I hope you take what I've said to heart. Number 4. Golden Skies by TurretGuy36. Our story starts here, as a father has to make a decision whether or not to kill one of his own children. It is the distant future. Oh my god, this narrator sucks. Anyways, this video is about how Turret Guy's parents are actually machine gun turrets, and for some reason his mother wanted to kill him, so he escaped and then the humans created a robot army to kill all the machine gun turrets, and Turret Guy has to stop them. Also ear rape.
Waffle here can give you a superpower.
Oh my god, like the Hulk?
It's randomized. For example, mine is just a really loud, annoying SCREAM!
I mean, Turret Guy's a talented dude. He makes a lot of good videos, but in this one I had no idea what the fuck was going on. And I was in this one. It just seems like a bunch of random shit, and I'm not gonna lie, it was funny. I was laughing my ass off when I watched this thing. And, well, this. This is fucking awesome. So yeah, this is a bunch of random, funny, cool shit. So yeah, I'm really not sure what to say about this one, and I can't give it a really high rating because it made no goddamn sense. But it was funny, so keep it up, Turret Guy. Number 3, Silent Screams Part 1 by Deldour. I'm gonna skip this one, just because I know Deldour. He's a good dude, and I'm sad to say he's no longer making machinimas. So there's no real point in me giving criticism, especially since everything I was gonna say is already in the comments section, so let's move on. Number 2, Halo Butt Buddies Prop Hunt by TheGreatIsaiah. Before I start the criticism, let me just say that I like this series. I've been watching it since the very beginning, and it really is a great series. First off, it has the advantage that it actually gets made. But looking past that, I like how all the characters have distinct personalities and how they play off of each other. There's always a few good bits in every episode, so I recommend this series to anyone who likes comedy machinimas. That being said, this episode in particular is not my favorite. To be fair, it's very difficult to tell a story using inanimate objects, even more so than just using Spartans, so I applaud that. Your camera work is pretty good overall, and you usually don't do anything to take me out of the moment. My biggest problem with this episode is the Nazi jokes with bad German accents just weren't really working for me. Honestly though, this is a great video, and second place is not bad at all. Say what you want about TheGreatIsaiah, the man knows how to make a comedy machinima. Anyways people, it's time for number 1, the winner of the 2017 Machinima contest in 2018. Number 1, Installation 07, Episode 4 by Genesis Films. Until this was submitted into my contest, I hadn't heard of it. But ever since I watched this video, I've been a fan of the series. This is a comedic machinima, which I think is a really great watch for any true Halo fan. The use of Halo music was great, visually it was very well done, and there's some great comedic moments too. I particularly like how he pokes fun at the whole serious, honorable, elite cliche. But even going past the comedy, I have to admit, I like how this feels. It feels different to a lot of high-profile machinimas that you see these days. Everyone's going for that whole dark, brooding vibe, and honestly, I'm getting a bit sick of it. I like that it's lighthearted. I like that it's color-graded in a different way. In most machinimas, like, literally every shot is dark, and everything is fucking blue. Honestly, I'm tired of it. This man had the balls to hit fuck it. To have his own visual style and do something I hardly see anymore. I can tell that Installation 07 was created by a man who loves Halo. So if you love Halo 2, I highly recommend checking it out. Anyways guys, that's it for my 2017 contest. I'm going to be announcing my 2018 contest very soon, so I hope to see you all there.